Hello everyone and welcome to New to the Game. I'm so excited to have you here and to guide you on your culinary journey. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it.
Check. New to it, but we stay true to it. We'll be pro in no time. New to the game. New to the game. New world to explore. Never been here before, but it feels so right. New to the game. New to the game.
So today we're making a classic. Honestly, a classic that's probably been running to the ground. Spaghetti always seems like the last resort when it comes to food. So today we're gonna make it the basic way and then we're gonna kind of remix a little bit. A little deluxe spaghetti, if you will. So today we're gonna be making baked spaghetti. So let's start with our spaghetti noodles. We have a pot going already. It's gonna start boiling. We're gonna add in a dash of salt just to help the water boil. And then we're gonna have a couple of chicken cubes. So chicken cubes will help give the noodles a flavor on their own. This, just follow me. This is gonna help make it deluxe. So we're gonna go ahead, take our noodles, and we're gonna boil them. Now you wanna make sure not to break the noodles. I know a lot of people break the noodles, but it's actually easier to eat the spaghetti if you don't break the noodles. It helps the fork, you know, whoop whoop all the way around the fork. So make sure that you don't break the noodles. I'm gonna go ahead and drop these in there, and then we're gonna move on to our meats. So for my meat, a lot of people use ground beef. I like to use ground turkey. So I have ground turkey meat, and then we also have ground Italian sausage. So the sausage is gonna add another flavor to the whole spaghetti that's really gonna help it get that deluxe based spaghetti taste. So before we cook our meats, we're gonna add in our vegetables. I have a chopped green bell pepper as well as a white onion. So I have my pan right here heating up. I have olive oil in the pan. So our pan is now hot with the olive oil. First thing I'm gonna add is some minced garlic. I'm gonna add some of that right into the pan. Then we're going to add in our vegetables. So give it a nice stir, nice toss around. We're going to cook these vegetables down a little bit just so that they're not too fresh when we add the meat in with them. So I'm gonna make a well in the middle, pushing the vegetables to both sides. And then I'm gonna put in my sausage. And my ground turkey. You're going to want to cook this until all the meat is cooked all the way through. Turkey meat and sausage, it's not no medium raw. No, you want to make sure you cook this all the way through. Alright, so our meat is cooking beautifully. It smells amazing. Just smell it out there. Smell it out there. I'm sure you can smell it. That Italian sausage smells great. So what I like to do is when all the meat is almost done, not completely done, but when you can see that there's more brown than pink, I like to season my meat then. So you'll notice throughout this show that I have three main seasons that I like to use, and I pretty much use them on everything. So I have the Cajun seasoning, garlic powder, as well as black pepper. So the Cajun seasoning has salt in it, so I'm not going to put a seasoning with salt and then add more salt to it. You don't want to have too much salt or else it's going to clog the arteries and then you're out of here. You didn't even get a chance to finish your food because you're on the ground. So I have my Cajun seasoning. I also don't measure my seasoning, so I'm not going to tell you a tablespoon, a teaspoon. If you're not really sure about seasoning, I normally say 5 shakes. 5 shakes to get you where you need to be. If it has salt in it, you're gonna count for every back and forth. So for this seasoning, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you don't know what you're doing. Me, I can add a little bit more. And then for less sauce seasoning, you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That'll get it. And then we have our black pepper right here. Just gonna sprinkle a little bit of that. And for this dish, I also have some onion powder. So we're gonna pour that, a little bit of that in there. Then I'm gonna start stirring it together. And the reason why I tend to wait is that the salt and the seasoning in here is going to start to take up the water that the meat brought in. It's going to start to, I don't want to say dry it out, but it's going to start to really blend in well. And it's going to start cooking a little bit faster. So you don't want to cook it too early, or you'll have meat that looks brown on the outside but isn't brown on the inside. That'll have you in the hospital on the outside and the inside. So for this, if it's your first time cooking ground meat, you want to make sure that you continue to break it up into small, bite-sized pieces. That's what I'm doing. You can even kind of hear the water starting to evaporate a little bit faster now that our seasoning is in there. That's going to help brown the meat as well. So also breaking it up helps you to see the pieces that aren't done, so you can push those closer to the bottom. So because this is baked spaghetti, I do have my oven preset to 375. So we're gonna put the meat, the sauce, the noodles, all that together. We're gonna top this off with cheese. So I'm gonna let my meat finish. I think my noodles are wrapping up as well. And then we'll start adding in our sauces. So our meat is done, our meat and our vegetables are cooked. And then we have our pot of noodles. So I'm gonna go ahead and add the sauce to the noodles. I have traditional sauce, and then I have a tomato, basil, and garlic sauce. So I like to do 2 cans if you're cooking a lot. 1 can that'll cover the sauce, and then 1 can that normally cover the meat. So I'm gonna take the sauce and kind of mesh it in with the noodles. You want to make sure to keep a little bit of your pasta water in there. It's gonna help thicken the sauce. Not a lot, you don't want it runny, but just enough. And then I'm gonna add in my meat. Just like that. And then I'm gonna let this cook together for about 10 minutes, just so that the flavors can start to blend before we put it in the oven. Okay, so the spaghetti as we have it now in this pot, this is basically how we know it for the most part. But now we're gonna bake it, so I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna carefully pour it in the dish. Any size baking dish you have. Take that, spread it around. And then we're going to top it off with some mozzarella cheese. And then some Mexican blend cheese. It doesn't sound like, you know, Mexican cheese will go good with Italian food, but trust me, the cheese works. Also, if you're gonna buy the regular pre-shredded store-bought cheese, it's good if you rinse off the cheese before you use it. So in the bags, they coat the cheese with starch so it doesn't stick together. And so that's the reason, if you're maybe trying to cook or melt down store-bought cheese, and the reason it's not melting is because the starch on it isn't allowing it to melt together. little tidbit, a little tip, pro tip. We're full of those this season, full of tidbits, tips, and tricks on how to make it better, make your food better, make cooking easy. And then we'll take this, put it in our oven, just until the cheese melts. Once the cheese melts, it's done, and then you can take it out. All right, here's our spaghetti, our baked spaghetti. It looks delicious, it smells even more delicious. Make sure you make this at home. When you make it, make sure to tag us on Instagram at theheirco_ on Instagram, as well as Facebook, theheirco. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is just the first episode, okay? We got a whole bunch more for you to come out, so we want you to hit the bell button. The bell is gonna notify you the next time we have a new video out. You wanna be on top of everything. You wanna cook everything we make. Trust me, everything I make is gonna be amazing. So go ahead, hit that subscribe, hit the bell. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.